Hey Thomas, this is a demo video for you for your 2002 Master Replica Anakin Skywalker conversion that I converted to a CFX Neopixel from the 8 AA battery, something that was in there. But it was pretty cool. I've never done one of these before. I didn't research how other people did it because I wanted to have a crack at it myself and see what I could come up with all by myself. So this is it. I hope that you like it. We'll start on the outside right here. This is your on and off switch, or it was your on and off switch when it came to me, sliding forward for on and back for off. I really liked that, so I kept it. I kept that switch, I reused it, rewired it, it works out cool. So that'll be your activation. Your auxiliary, you didn't have an auxiliary with this, it was just an on and off. What happened here was when this hilt came to me, it was missing one of these bubble pieces. I think it was off here onto the side. So I utilized that, and that's where I put your auxiliary switch. So as you can see, I've got a switch right here. I took the bubble off that area right there, moved it over to the piece that was missing, and I 3D printed up, I modeled up and 3D printed a holder for the switch to make that switch, the top of it, in line with the rest of the bubbles. Hopefully you can see that right there. It comes up the same amount. So that is now your auxiliary switch. I thought it was very ergonomic, that being on the bottom here, and then your on and off switch on the top. You could turn it on, and then with your middle or your ring finger, you could be down here activating your aux switch. So that's what I did there, and we'll fire that up in a minute. You can see how that works. Right here, when this came to me, you have a green and red lens here, but there were no LEDs to light this up. They were just kind of, you know, for show, and they were popping out actually. I mean, this is from 2002, so it's been a while. It's been around a while. What I did was I took those out, epoxied them back in, and then I put a place into my chassis, my blade holder, where I could cut 3 Neopixels from a strip. So I took 3 of them just like that and wired them in line and perfectly, you know, right behind those 2 lenses, just like that. Exactly how I do a crystal chamber. So these do not light up and blink independently. They mirror what your blade will do. So I hope you like that. I thought it was a pretty neat feature. It looks cool when it's all lit up. I did replace this guy right here with an 8/32 screw for blade retention. Just made it longer. You can kind of see it poking into the blade chamber there. And you can see your 7-pin connector there on the bottom. So that's blade retention. You'll never have to take this all the way out. You'll just want to back it up enough to get it out of the blade holder, which I'll show you in a second, to put your blade in. And then onto your chassis. So I replaced the screw in your Covertech knob with an 8/32 as well, because this is what will actually hold your chassis in place. So to get to your chassis, you're going to want to take this off completely. So I made it to where you can use the same Allen key for your blade retention and your Covertech knob, so you don't got a handful of tools trying to get this done. But that pops right off. And then to get to your chassis, you want to hold this in your hand, take your other hand and just pop it like that. It pops right out. And then you can bring it out just like that. This is a removable battery system. So I did not want to go with a recharge port if I could help it. I hate recharge ports. They take hours to charge. So you get some enjoyment out of your Saber, and then it's sitting on the shelf for hours waiting for a recharge. So we went with a removable battery here. Spring is your negative. Up top near the speaker is your positive. You also have a positive and negative sign that I designed into the chassis to help you out there. And then you flip this over, or you could just twist it. You can see your CFX board here and easy access to your SD card. One cool thing about this I liked is I reused the speaker mesh from the old setup. I liked it. It was cool. It's old school. It gives the outward appearance as close to the original as we could get it, minus the auxiliary switch that you can't even notice it was there unless maybe I pointed it out, right? But and then also it acts as a pommel cap, because this was how the old one was set up as well. Actually, you'd pull it out. You had, I think it was like 8 AA batteries that got put around this guy. So 28 millimeter bass speaker is behind this, and then I reused that. So we're going to put the battery in, and then we're going to talk about how to put it back in the hilt. So put your negative in first, and then pop your positive in.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
Now, to put the chassis back in, you're going to see that Cobra hole. You don't want that to be hitting this chassis retention screw to be hitting your board or your battery. Make sure that hole lines up with either side of the chassis. You can actually see marks right there, and that's okay. That's where I've been lining it up before. So line it up with the side of the chassis so it's got something to bite into. So that's what we'll do now. It should slide right in for you. It's wired to where the wires are just long enough to where you can pull that chassis out long enough to get to your battery, and then it'll stop, so don't force it. And then I just lined that up perfectly with the end of the pommel there. And once that's lined up, we're going to take your Cobra Tech and put it back in. It'll go right in. So it goes in every time real easy until you're on camera trying to do it for somebody, and then of course it doesn't. So I got to pay attention to what I'm doing real quick. And as you're screwing it in, when you feel it start to bite, stop. It just needs a little bit of bite on the chassis to hold it in place. Nothing major, right? Because you don't want to ruin your chassis either. So goes in there a few turns. Feel it bite, we'll stop. Chassis is in there nice and tight, not coming out. That's exactly how you want it right there. So now for the blade, I don't have a full-length blade yet. I'm waiting on the last of the blade material to come in for your blade. That will be here tomorrow. But I do have a 1-inch diameter test blade, which is what we're going to use to fire this up. But before we do, I just want to show you, before, like without the blade. So on is sliding forward. You see your lights there. Pretty cool, right? Smooth swing. Auxiliary. And then slide it back to turn it off. Pretty sweet. So now let's put the blade in. On this retention screw for the blade, you never have to take it all the way out. Just look in there as you're backing it up. Get that thing out of the blade chamber. And ready for your blade. Once your blade's in, you can give it a little bit of a squeeze. You don't have to do much. It's enough to keep that thing in there. And then there you go. We'll turn it on. Tap for blaster deflex. Hold the auxiliary for blade lock up. So one thing we're going to do is I've got this set to an unstable blade effect. I've got 21 different blade effects on here for you. I'm going to show you how to first change the effects and then to change the color. So while the blade is on, hold down the auxiliary and twist your wrist.
Spectrum.
Keep holding the auxiliary down
Blade profiles.
until you hear blade profiles, and then let go. And then you can twist the hilt slowly and it'll cycle through different blade effects that I've got on here for you. I'm going to stop at a solid one. And then to change the color, hold down the auxiliary and twist your wrist.
Spectrum.
Let go. And now you can twist the hilt again to change color. I'll go back to a blue right there, since this is Anakin. When you find something that you like, just tap a button. You're gonna tap the auxiliary button on this, knock the activation. Since your activation is a slide switch, anything menu in the menu that's getting picked will get picked from hitting the auxiliary button. So we'll turn it on. Flash on flash. Tap for blast or deflex. Hold for blade lockup. And you can see your side LED is mimicking that blade lockup. And turn it off. Now to get to your sound fonts when the blade is off, you're going to want to hold down the auxiliary button like this.
Sound bank selection.
Now you're going to have to use the auxiliary button to cycle through.
This part is over.
When you find one that you like, hold down the button.
I am the Senate.
And there you go, sir. I will get your blade made tomorrow and have this out in the mail Monday morning. Thanks.